Hello and welcome into this week's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Rewind show, we're looking back at Saturday's 65th Annual Toyota Owners 400. 400 laps, 300 miles around the three-quarter mile Richmond Raceway in Richmond, Virginia. Fairly tame race. 5 cautions total for 41 laps in this race. Competition caution at lap number 40 because of the rain over the past 24 hours or so. No incidents in Stage 1. That concluded lap 100 with Kyle Busch taking the Stage 1 victory. Lap 129, the 42 of Kyle Larson's bad day got worse as on the previous restart coming out of the Stage 1 break, he'd gotten in a little tangle, gotten a tire rub. They had been able to get down to pit road to fix that without having a flat tire, but apparently they hadn't pulled the fender off the tire completely, and he ended up getting a flat tire inadvertently after that, spinning into the wall, and ending his night. Not a good day for Kyle Larson, and a very bad points day for Kyle Larson, as we'll see when we get to the playoff grid. Stage 2 concluded at lap 200. Your Stage 2 winner would be Joey Logano. Final caution of the night was at lap 244 as the 34 of Michael McDowell blew a right rear, headed into turn 1, and slammed it hard driver's side into the wall. Luckily, he was okay after that. 8 lead changes in this race among 5 drivers. Martin Truex Jr. led the most laps, 186 on the night. Kyle Busch also in the triple digits with 101 laps led. 52 laps went to Joey Logano, 31 to Brad Keselowski, and 30 laps led by Kevin Harvick. All right, into your results. Martin Truex Jr. finally gets the monkey off of his back, wins a short track race, and picks up the victory in Saturday night's Toyota Owners 400 after leading the most laps. Really strong run out of Martin Truex in this race. As we've seen him do a lot of times in short track races. Up until this point, he had led the most laps of anyone in NASCAR history on short tracks without having a win at a short track. He can finally say he does not own that statistic anymore, and I'm sure he's probably happy to not have that statistic anymore. Joey Logano hard charging at the end. If he'd had another lap or two, I think Logano would have gotten Truex. Just kind of ran out of laps there. He was on Truex's bumper, though, coming off of 4 on the final lap. Logano comes home in second. Clint Boyer also had a fast car late. He came home in third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Really good 4-car battle for the win. All 4 of these cars really nose to tail for the final 5 laps or so. It was a really good battle between those 4. And Denny Hamlin rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, good run for Austin Dillon in 6th. Brad Keselowski 7th. Kyle Busch. Ryan Newman another top 10 run in 9th. And Paul Menard a top 10 run for him in 10th. 11th through 20th, Kurt Busch down here in the 11th position. Jimmy Johnson still a fairly solid run this week in the 12th position. William Byron 13th. Eric Jones, after qualifying on the outside pole, had to start from the rear after failing post-qualifying inspection. Battled back, had a top 10 capable car, and then had some issues on the night and had to settle for a 14th place finish. Chase Elliott came home in the 15th position. Daniel Suarez back here in 18th. 21st through 30th, Eric Almirola back here in the 23rd position. Not a good night for that Smithfield Get Grilling car. Matt DiBenedetto came home in the 24th position. Ryan Blaney, just a very bad night for that 12 team all around. They'll be happy to get out of Richmond. 25th for Ryan Blaney. Bubba Wallace came home in 27th. And then final page, 31st through 37th, Michael McDowell. We talked about his incident, lap 240. 36th for Michael McDowell, and then Kyle Larson, shotgun on the field in 37th. Not a good night for Kyle Larson. He took a very, very big points hit this week. All right, so that's your results from the Toyota Owners 400. Let's head over to the Media Center. We'll see what Martin Truex and team had to say after his first win of the season and first for Joe Gibbs Racing.
I was waiting to get past because I didn't think we were very good. So, yeah, usually when running away from it, you're worried about the good luck side or the bad luck coming in. But, tonight it was just a matter of grinding it out, and, Martin was able to do that. So, yeah, I know when the 22 got clear and got to our bump, we were like, oh, man, here we go. But we managed to make it through and had a lot better result than last time that happened.
I should have done that. 0-5 was brutal. But I think for Cole and Martin, we wanted them to get that win because I think a lot of things this year haven't gone well for them in races, and I think we've really been good. We know how good they are. And so they were the ones that were putting pressure on themselves. It wasn't me. I kept trying to encourage them and say, look, we're going to get this. Don't worry about it. But I know how competitive they are, Cole and Martin both, and the whole team there. And our pit crew, this was a huge deal tonight for our pit crew. For them to really perform well as kind of a new group, be able to get this win, it's a huge deal for them. And then, of course, for our sponsors. We have a new sponsor on that car, auto owners, and Jeff Taxel and all those guys. Everybody here knows this sport, you can't race without a great sponsor. And so that was a huge deal for us. I called Johnny Morris because he's also on that car, and Bass Pro and Cabela's. It's just a huge deal for us all the way around. But I think they were the ones that were upset and putting pressure on it. It wasn't me.
Well, it feels awesome, honestly, to finally get that first win, not only on a short track, but here at Richmond at a track where we've been so strong the last couple seasons and led so many laps and had some real heartbreakers, some that were really tough, some really tough losses. And, they sometimes those things are they're hard to get through, but they make you stronger and make you, appreciate the good days. So, today we didn't have the best car, and, it just it worked out the way we needed it to, thanks to a great team and a pit crew that, just was – we beat the crap out of them this week, I'll be honest with you. Loose wheel at Bristol last week took us, out of a chance to maybe – to win, and we beat them up pretty good all week long, and they stepped up tonight and they did a great job. They got us the lead and put us in control of the race, and was really the difference. So just honestly, I'm really proud of those guys. They have a really tough job, and it seems we only talk about them when they screw up. So I'm really happy for them. I'm really proud of them, and really proud to get all these guys on the 19 team and here in Victory Lane, and our first win here at JGR, so it feels incredible.
All right, now let's take a look at your playoff grid before wrapping up here tonight. Kyle Busch obviously still leads now with 3 wins. Martin Truex now joins the now 5-driver club of drivers that have won thus far this season. And then some fairly big shakeups near the bottom of the playoff grid down here around the cutoff line. Austin Dillon in 14th now. Ryan Newman holds stationary in 15th. Paul Menard has jumped into a playoff spot in 16th with a 1-point gap over Eric Jones, who still sits out in 17th, but again, only 1 point back from Paul Menard. Ricky Stenhouse has fallen out, back to the 18th position. Kyle Larson, we talked about it, a terrible points night for Kyle Larson. He is all the way down now to the 19th position and currently sits 9 points below Paul Menard in that 16th position. So, not and Kyle said it in the infield care center after his incident. He has had some terrible luck to start this season, and hopefully they can get that turned around here going forward. We know what that team is capable of. Unfortunately, they've not really been able to show it here early in the season. Their teammates been fast. Kurt Busch has been extremely fast. I mean, we see here he's 7th in points right now. So it's been a good start to the season for Kurt Busch, and I gotta believe that Kyle Larson can do the same thing. We've seen Kyle Larson do the same thing and more. It's just so much bad luck on that 42-team side to start this season. It's really depressing to see, and hopefully they can get that ship righted here very soon. But I think that'll do it for tonight's Cup Rewind show. ARCA preview coming up 10 a.m. It'll be this morning by the time this goes up. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, to get you ready for the Kentuckiana Ford Dealers 200 from the Salem Speedway, which is supposed to be at 2 p.m. Eastern today. Weather's not looking great, so I mean, we can go as late as 10 p.m. if we need to get the race started, but if the forecast that we have holds true, I'm thinking we have a Monday race. I don't want to see a Monday race. I'm just kind of being realistic here. So, but we do have the ARCA preview coming up at 10 a.m. regardless of when the race ends up running, to get you ready for that race, because it will run eventually, no matter whether it runs on Sunday or Monday. But then, of course, pole position coming up Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to catch you up on everything that happened this weekend. Of course, we obviously didn't have an Xfinity rewind this weekend because we're busy down in Salem, but it will be covered on pole position this week. A big win for Cole Custer in that race, so lots to talk about on pole position this week. We've got F1 to talk about and all kinds of other stuff, so it'll be fun to talk about on pole position this week. But if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. We'll have lots of interviews and stuff coming up on today, I guess, from Salem, especially if the race gets pushed back due to rain. We'll have lots of time to kill down there, so we'll just talk to everybody that we possibly can. So you might see a bunch of ARCA interviews going up today, weather dependent. So we'll see what happens. There at least will be a few going up. The more you see go up, the more chance we have of the race getting pushed back. That's probably a good rule of thumb. But yeah, while you're down there hitting that subscribe button, you need to hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do that. But at that, this has been the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.